Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and a very good morning to all of my dear students. We will discuss the distinction between ultraviolet, visible and infrared radiation. The differences between ultraviolet radiation, visible radiation and infrared radiation. Okay, now look at this. Point number 1. All the points we have discussed in the previous 2 videos. Now, look at this. The wavelength of ultraviolet rays is range 100 angstrom to 4000 angstrom, and this one 4000 angstrom to 8000 angstrom. And here infrared radiation, the wavelength is 800, between 800 to from 800 to 10 to the power 7. So these are the one difference. Okay, number 1 point. Now, ultraviolet rays, they are invisible. But this is a visible rays. Visible rays means vibgyor. Okay, these are the only visible rays. They are visible. And infrared is also invisible. Clear? Infrared is also invisible. Now look at this. Number 3 point. They produce no heating effect. Ultraviolet rays do not produce heating effect. Which one will produce heating effect? Infrared. They produce a strong heating effect. Okay? They produce a strong heating effect. Ultra rays do not produce heating effect. Okay? Infrared produce a strong heating effect. Strong, rapid rise in temperature in thermometer. Okay, microwaves also produce heating effect, but little bit, not like infrared. Clear? That's why we use as a cooking purpose in a micro oven. Clear? The strong heating effect produced by infrared. Any heat, certain rise in temperature, then you will understand that is all about infrared. Okay, number 4. Ultraviolet rays, they affect photographic plate. Now visible rays, they produce slight heating effect. Okay, look at this. Number 4, they affect photographic plate. They do not affect photographic plate. Okay, photographic plate is different and photography is a different. Okay, so remember these things. Number 5, they cause fluorescence on zinc sulfides screen. Okay, they cause fluorescence on zinc sulfide screen. Visible, they do not cause fluorescence. This one is also, they do not cause fluorescence. Now, the uses, they cause health hazard like skin cancer. Ultraviolet rays causes health hazard like skin cancer because of the ultraviolet. When ultraviolet pass through, UV rays pass through our skin, it causes skin cancer. In stone, ultraviolet rays, stone cancer. Okay, on marble, if ultraviolet rays is passed through on marble, then that black spot, because of the ultraviolet rays, the marble become black spot will produce, that is called stone cancer. That's why okay, leave it, that's stone cancer, remember that one. They cause in human skin cancer. Okay, they cause health hazard like skin cancer. Now look at this. The visible rays do not affect the body because this is a visible rays, vibgyor. Now this one, they do not affect the body, but high may cause skin burn. If the infrared is high, then it causes skin burns, but generally it do not affect the body. Okay, so ultraviolet UV rays is very dangerous for us. Now number 7, they can pass through quartz, but they do not pass through glass because they are absorbed by glass. Okay, ultraviolet rays can pass through quartz. This one infrared can pass through rock salt. Mind it, very very important, rock salt and quartz. Question will ask why they for detection of the ultraviolet rays they use quartz prism and infrared rock salt prism. Because in glass, same reason, in glass, if the ultraviolet rays and UV and infrared is passed through the glass prism, they absorb by the glass prism. Clear? That's why for this quartz prism is used and for this rock salt is used. Okay, rock salt is used. Clear? Now they can pass through glass, they are not absorbed by the glass. Okay, visible rays can easily pass through the glass prism. Okay, but ultraviolet rays do not pass through the glass prism because they absorb in the glass prism. That's why we use quartz prism. Okay, and this one, infrared, is used rock salt. Okay, because they can pass through infrared radiation, pass through the rock salt. Okay, so these are the some important differences between infrared radiation, visible radiation and ultraviolet radiation. Clear? Now let us discuss some question and answer. In a question, if they ask that which prism is used in ultraviolet spectrum, for ultraviolet spectrum which prism is used, answer is quartz prism. Okay, that is discussed earlier. Now for ultraviolet rays, which prism is used, glass prism, quartz prism or rock prism, answer is quartz prism. And for rock prism, which prism is used, rock prism. For rock prism, which spectrum is used, infrared. Now name the radiation detected by thermopile. Answer is infrared. Okay, thermopile detected by the thermopile, which radiation, infrared radiation. Okay, now infrared photography in fog. Why infrared is used? Question will ask that why infrared is used in photography in fog. The reason is because they scattered least and travel long distance. Mind it? Please remember this one, very very important. Why infrared is used? What is the reason behind why we use the infrared, not UV rays, not visible rays, not gamma rays? Okay, why we use only infrared for photography in fog? Because they scattered least and travel long distance. It is because of this nature, this property, we use infrared as a signal in a war. Okay, now electromagnetic wave having range 50 angstrom wavelength. Which rays this one? Which rays having 50 angstrom? So we know that X-ray. Look at this. Here we have the list. Here the X-ray 0.1 to 100 angstrom. Below 0.1 is gamma. So 50 angstrom lies in this range. So the answer is X-ray. So you have to learn this list, the wavelength list of all gamma rays. All electromagnetic waves. Now here name the electromagnetic waves whose wavelength is 50 angstrom. So the answer is X-ray. What is the speed of that electromagnetic wave? So the speed of all electromagnetic wave is the same, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. They travel in the speed of light. In air and vacuum, do not forget to write this one. Okay, in air and vacuum, the speed of the electromagnetic wavelength the speed of the electromagnetic wave whose wavelength is 50 is X-ray. And what is the speed? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Now where it is used? So it is used to detect the fracture or used for detecting the foreign bodies, just like bullet or stone in our body. Okay, now again one more question they asked, that name the electromagnetic waves having range 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer. Okay, this is the question. So 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer, just multiply with 10, they will convert, the nanometer will convert into angstrom. So 10 nanometer will become 100 angstrom and 400 will become 4000 angstrom. So what is the range of this 100 angstrom and 4000 angstrom? So we know that 4000 visible rays is starting from the 4000 and end at 8000. Now look at this, Vibgyor and say here Vibgyor, violet range of the violet, the wavelength range of the violet is 4000 and red light range is 8000. So before violet it is UV rays and after red it is infrared. Mind it, remember this one, very very important. In between these are called visible rays. These are called visible rays, and visible rays range, the wavelength range is 4000 angstrom to 8000. So before violet it is UV and after it is red. Now look at this here, 100 angstrom to 4000 angstroms, it means the answer is ultraviolet rays. So this is the answer, or you can use this one here, 100 to 4000 ultraviolet rays. Look at this, visible range, above visible is UV and below visible is infrared radiation. Okay, so this list you must learn this one. Okay, look at this, two questions they ask here. How will you detect the infrared, detection of the infrared? Here the answer, rapid rise in temperature in thermometer due to strong heating effect produced by the infrared. This is the one very very important. We can detect the infrarays through thermometer. Thermometer shows the rapid rise in temperature due to strong heating effect. Infrared produces strong heating effect. Okay, now it is also detected by thermopile. Okay, because this is a heat radiation. So these 2 points must remember. You can write any one. Okay, if 2 marks then write 2 points. If 1 marks then write any 1 point. Okay, now next question is, how will you detect UV rays? Infrared detection by sudden rise in temperature through thermometer and thermopile, but UV rays how will you detect? Through AgCl solution. The AgCl solution first become violet, then it will become dark, and then it will become black. Okay, why? Because due to highly reactivity properties, the UV rays is highly active. Okay, it has a high reactivity. Okay, that's why it's changes AgCl solution into violet, then dark, then black. Clear? So these are some common questions they ask in examination. Look at the question. Give a list of at least 5 radiation in order of the increasing wavelength which makes up the complete electromagnetic spectrum. So you have to give the list: gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, with ultraviolet rays, then visible rays, infrared, radio waves, and microwaves with increasing order wavelength. Okay, so this is the list here. This is the answer. You will write like this: gamma rays, gamma rays, okay, gamma, X-ray, UV rays, visible rays, infrared, microwaves, and radio waves. These are the increasing order of wavelength. Okay, now look at this. The second question: name the radiation mentioned in your part which is highest penetrating power. Highest penetrating power is gamma rays. Answer is gamma rays. Okay, number two is arrange the following radiation in order of the increasing wavelength. X-rays, infrarays, radio waves, gamma rays, and microwaves. So which one is a least wavelength? First, gamma rays is the least wavelength. Least wavelength means wavelength is least. or minimum, then energy is highest, because energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength. Okay, energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength lambda. Okay, so the first one, this is the first one, gamma rays. Then second is X-ray. Third is here infrared. Then radio waves. Sorry, then microwaves, and then radio waves. Microwaves is the most or maximum wavelength. Now name the radiation which is used in a satellite communication. Satellite communication: gamma rays, X-rays, infrared, microwaves, and radio waves. These are the here question number A answer. Now which rays is used in a satellite communication? The microwaves is used in a satellite communication. Okay, radio waves is also used in a satellite communication. Okay, but microwaves, you will write the microwaves or radio waves also. Now the wave has wavelength 10 to the power 3 nanometer, 10 to the power minus 3 nanometer, whose wavelength you will get from this range, 10 to the power 3 nanometer. Look at this here, 10 to the power 3 minus 10 to the power 3 nanometer will be, the answer will be the gamma rays, less than the wavelength. The wave has wavelength 10 to the power 3 nanometer. So this one below 0.1. Okay, 0.1, this one is 10 to the power 2 minus 2. So below this one, 10 to the power 3 gamma rays. Okay, now next one is here. So these are some questions they ask. You will solve this one from the book. Okay, many questions. Look at this. Some questions is here also given. Here, name two electromagnetic waves smaller than that of the violet light. Violet light smaller than. State one use. Okay, so Vibgyor. Look at this. Violet light smaller than, that is having a smaller wavelength than violet light. Here we have discussed. So this one is this is the range 4000 angstrom, and red light is 8000 angstrom. So it's smaller than which one is UV rays is a smaller wavelength than violet light. So the answer is UV rays, and UV rays is used where it is used. UV rays, it is used in the ultraviolet ray is used for the sterilizing purpose, or to killing the germs for the instrument. Okay, or it is used for detecting the purity of gold, eggs, and ghee. Purity of gold, eggs, and ghee. So these are the some uses. You can write any use. Clear?